What's up, tubers? It's your favorite barber, Uncle G. Now, a lot of guys out there are what I call chair hoppers. Uncle G, what's a chair hopper? A chair hopper is someone who goes to the barber shop and hops from chair to chair to chair. They don't have a specific barber. They may even hop to different shops, but they don't have a consistent barber that always cuts their hair. They just walk in, whoever's available, that's where they go to. I don't want you to be a chair hopper. I'm gonna give you the top 3 reasons why you should go to the same barber. Now, some of y'all might not have realized that you're a chair hopper until you just heard my definition of what a chair hopper is. So you want to go to the same barber. So here are the top 3 reasons why you should go to the same barber. Number 1, I think it's pretty obvious, because they cut your hair the way that you want it. I don't know if y'all understand, maybe you do, but finding a good barber is hard. Now, I'm a barber. I've been a barber for 34 years, and I know that it's hard to find a good barber. One of the reasons why I know it is because my clients tell me. Once I give them a nice haircut, they're like, "Oh man, you don't understand how long I've been looking for a good barber, man. Give me, please." And I just want to give you a hug. I get my hair cut too. So I understand how hard it is to find a good barber. Oh man, this is what I hate the most. When you leave the barber shop and your hair look crisp, I'm talking about, it look good everywhere you go, people looking at you, and then you go home and wash it. After you go home and wash it, you look in the mirror, it's a totally different haircut. I hate that. I can't stand that. It's hard to find a good barber. So if you can find somebody that cuts your hair to your liking, stick with that person. The thing is, when you stick with the same barber, and I'm speaking from a barber's perspective, we know your hair. The barber knows your hair. We know every strand, the way it grows, if you got a cowlick in your hair, if you got a light spot, if you got a wave right here and you hit it right here and it creates a bald spot. We know all this stuff. Maybe the back is round, you kind of light back here, and it's sensitive back here, and you want to cut around, the barber can cut around and make it all look good. We know that. That only happens when you go to the same barber. But if you chair hop and you go to different barbers and you got a cowlick up here, that barber doesn't know that you have that cowlick. And sometimes you can tell them, or you might not say anything, and then zoom, they come right there, you look in the mirror like, God damn. Now it look like you got a silver dollar patch cut in your hair. But that happens when you don't go to the same barber. You constantly switch up barbers, you go to different chairs. One of the barbers might push your hairline back. Next thing you know, your hairline, your forehead so big, look like you can make another face because your hairline is going back because you're going to different barbers. Your waves or your curls may not look as good because you're going to different barbers. They cutting your hair different ways. So I highly recommend you go to the same barber because they cut your hair the way you like. And also it's less pressure on you. It's less stress. Finding a good barber is like finding a girlfriend. It's like dating. You go out on different dates. Some dates talk too much. Some dates ain't good. Some dates stink. Some dates don't even say anything. That's how it is with barbers. Every time you get in that barber's chair, it's like a date. The date could be good. The date may be bad. You never know. But when you find a barber that you like, you're like, hey man, hey, let's date. Pause. Okay, it's a hair date. That's what it is. But stick with the same barber so you don't have to worry about being stressed. The whole haircut, you trying to look back at the mirror, see what the barber's doing. Because we, as barbers, we know what y'all doing. Hit the mirrors back there. We know what y'all doing. Look, the barber's cutting your hair. You find a way to look back, and you looking back to look in the mirror to see how the barber cut your hair. It relieves the stress when you go to the same barber because you know you're gonna get a good haircut. Nobody wants to be stressed going to the barbershop. The barbershop should be a stress-free environment. Number two, the second reason why you should stick to the same barber is for the conversation. Now, especially if it's a good barber, like, here's the thing. Most of us, you see your barber every 2 weeks. Some of you guys, you see your barber every week. If you see somebody every week or every 2 weeks, you're seeing them more than your family members. Now they start to know things. The more you see them, the more you start to converse with them, and the more you start to tell them intimate details about yourself. That barber's like your therapist. Now, you don't want to go around telling everybody intimate details about yourself. And when I say intimate, I ain't talking about the size of your thing down there. No, I'm talking about just the details of your life. The barber's a counselor, therapist, all that stuff. Style coach, health doctor, all that. So the barber knows these things about you. You don't need to spread those deep details about you to a bunch of different people. Now you go into a bunch of different barbers. It's 5 or 6 barbers that know all the details about your life. If the conversation is good, stick with the same barber. That person becomes your friend. There's a transfer of information that's like no other. You don't even get those intimate conversations with some of your family members. So it's always good to stick with the same barber because, like I said, there's a transfer of information. And that barber, that conversation is so good, they can give you good advice about your life. Tell you some things that you need to do, tell you some things that you don't need to do. But the barbershop conversations are so intimate. I always say this, a great conversation is better than a haircut. That's another reason why you want to stick with the same barber, because of the conversations. Some of you guys, the barber's your best friend. I knew somebody where his barber became his roommate. Now, when they became roommates, then the barber wasn't paying his rental time and then they stopped being friends. But before that, he thought the barber was cool. Just make sure the barber don't become your roommate. And number 3, the third reason why you should stick with the same barber is because of recommendations. And when I say recommendations, I'm talking about recommendations on your hair. Like when a barber really knows you, a barber isn't just your barber, but they also recommend you to maybe you should get a different hairstyle. Like once a barber really knows you, like, hey man, you've been getting the same cut for the past year. Let's switch it up. Let's switch it up. Man, I've been cutting a Caesar for you the past year. Let's switch up. Let's get a low fade and let it grow on the top. Now you have a whole new look. Now this whole new look brings you ladies and change and alters your life because you stopped looking the same and you took on a new look. The recommendations that a barber gives you should be priceless. If you got a dry scalp, the barber can recommend a type of shampoo that you should use or a conditioner that you should use. Anything going on with your hair, the barber should have a recommendation for that. But these are the things that you get when you build a rapport with the barber. I've had some of my clients, it's like, I tell them to get a new haircut because they've been clients of mine. They like, yo, man, G, thanks, man. Uncle G, I appreciate it, bro. Because you recommended that I get this, and now I got a whole new sleet of broads that like me. I got a whole different type of woman that likes me because of your recommendation. These are the things that happen when you stick with the same barber. Don't be a chair hopper. Grow with your barber. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment. If you have any questions, I'm going to leave my email address in the description. Shoot me an email. But stick with your same barber. It's easier on you. I'll see y'all later. Ciao!